What is up, everybody? Zombie JLT1, your supernatural gamer and gaming beautician, bringing you today my top 5 gaming items in my collection. Now, I was tagged by JLove81, so I'd like to show you and her what I consider the top 5 items in my gaming collection, starting with probably would be the least popular among all of you, and that is my Mega Man / Pop collection. Now, I know Pops aren't exactly popular with a lot of people, but I gotta tell you, as a fan of Mega Man and as a gamer himself, I just love what the Funko line has to offer when it comes to my favorite video game characters. And as you can see here, we've got ones that are modeled after the exact pixel sprites. We've got the normal looking Pops here. A lot of these are GameStop only exclusives, and you can tell that by the stickers right there, but we've also got a few other ones that are convention exclusives. We've got this one here from the Canadian Convention, E3, and then we've also got Chase variants and New York Comic Con. This set is unique in that there's quite a variety of Mega Man armors and powers that you can find. I'm still missing a few to actually complete the set. For example, there's a gold-plated Mega Man variant, and then there's also an alternate paint job of Mega Man X and Rocket. Now, to go with that, we also have the Funko Pop Pez dispensers here. We've got Mega Man with the Magnet Missile, and this glow-in-the-dark Gyrotech variant. Also with that, we've got the Mega Man Funko cereal back there, which, by the way, I was not impressed with. It pretty much tasted like stale Fruit Loops, in all honesty, but it's Mega Man, gotta have it. Then we got this really cool deluxe figure that came out. This was sold exclusively at GameStop, and I think ThinkGeek makes all kinds of sound effects from the video games, and they all change based on what weapon you put in the arm cannon. I've got this little plush here that I've had for years. I can't remember where I got it exactly, but he's been a part of this collection longer than any of these Pops have been. And then we've got, let me try to reach up here, the Mega Man Dorbs that I just discovered not too long ago. And like the Pops, there's a few different variations of them. I think I'm only missing 2 or 3 out of this line, but as you can see, they also have some limited Chase editions and a few convention ones. I know that with them being Dorbs and Pops and all that kind of stuff, it's not really everybody's cup of tea, but as a Mega Man fan, I had to have these. I honestly wouldn't have collected them if it wasn't for my girlfriend who collects Pops. And if you think this and all my other video game ones are bad, you should see her collection. It like completely dwarfs mine. So that's the first item I would say is unique in my gaming collection. So let's go ahead and move on to item number 2. Next up, we've got my collection of autographed memorabilia from some of my favorite YouTubers. As you can see here, I've got quite a variety of different carts, all autographed by people I've met at conventions and whom I've been a fan of their channel for some time here. We've got these 2 homebrew games, or would it be homebrew? I'm not sure. Hacks, actually. These were made by John Riggs, and he signed them both for me. We've got the Bob Burgers game, which is actually a Burger Time hack, and then we've got this YouTube Wrestling that's got him, RGT85, 8-Bit Eric, Billy and Jay of the Game Chasers, and Wood Hawker from Beat 'em Ups. This is a ROM hack of the Pro Wrestling game. This is pretty cool. We've got this copy of Back to the Future signed by 7th, which you'll see if you... Actually, no, I think we did show this in the first Retropalooza's pickup. This here was an eBay auction that I won from Billy of the Game Chasers, and he actually signed it for me. Thanks, Chode. Which was really cool of him to do. And then we've got probably the most graffitied cart that I own. This has been in the process For the last two years or so, it's been signed by a variety of different guests at Game On in Phoenix and Retropalooza, of course, in Texas. And you can sort of make out who's already signed it. Again, most of these guys I've either met already or for the first time that event. We had the Metal Jesus crew at Game On last year, so I have his autograph. I have Drunken Master Paul. I have Kinsey's. Let's see, who else was there? Kelsey was there. John Riggs. John Hancock was there, and he actually signed my copy of Choplifter. And in the previous year, I had all the Game Chasers, Woodhawker, Andre the Black Nerd Comedy, and a few others. So I'm actually going to try to complete the back and get more signatures from all of you out there who I have yet to meet and hang out with at a convention. And then this is what I consider my Yankee ball. Yes, I am a Yankees fan. Get over it. Have been for quite a while now. And this is pretty much covered with all the same YouTubers that have signed the Ninja Turtle cartridge. Originally, I only had Pat the NES Punk and Ian's autograph on here. But as you can see, poor Mario has gotten tagged up with just about everybody else's autograph. So this is probably one of the more prized possessions out of the whole autograph collection. And also what I have is a collection of a few DVDs that I have autographs from the Game Chasers on and the various crew that have helped out on the show. We've got Season 1 and 2, or I'm sorry, Season 1 and Season 4 here. This is Season 2. This is my favorite cover that they did. Season 3, and then soon to be released Season 5, which will be on Blu-ray. If you haven't reserved that and you're a fan of the Game Chasers, you may have missed the deadline, but I'm sure there'll be some way for you to get Season 5 and also Seasons 1 through 4 on Blu-ray as well. But for now, I'm happy with these until I get my new collection in, of course. And then we have this Blu-ray of a show called Smart Guys. This was done by the Continue crew a couple years ago. This was a side project that they were working on, and I actually donated to the Kickstarter for, and actually forgot to complete my registry. So this and the DVD were actually lying in wait until I did that. And so when I went back onto Kickstarter and actually submitted the information, the guys at Continue not only autographed this for me, but sent it out almost immediately. And they're a pretty funny bunch of guys. I've been a fan of theirs for a long time as well. If you're not familiar with them, they look at a game for about 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes and then decide if it's worth playing some more or if it's best to just let it die off. So if you haven't checked out Continue, definitely do yourself a favor and do so. I like a lot of their older episodes more. And if you can, see if you like Smart Guys, because that was a pretty funny original show that they did. Alright, so that is item number 2 in my gaming collection. We looked at a group of autographed items signed by YouTubers. Now let's move on to something a bit more personal, and we'll take a look at item number 3. The next item in my list are what I call my starter games. Now, when I was a kid and I actually got my own Nintendo, I ended up saving up to get the one that came with Rob, so the deluxe set. Normally I would count the original Mario and Gyromite and Duck Hunt as my starter games, but because they came with the system, I'm not going to look specifically at these. A starter game is what I consider a separate game that I got that got me into the system itself. It actually can name all 5 of the ones for all the systems that I own, but that's going to take a little bit too much time. So let's just quickly look at the 5 NES games that I got that got me into collecting, as well as the NES itself. Of course, you've all heard me talk about how Friday the 13th was the very first NES game that I got. This is still my childhood copy that I got from when I was 4 years old, that my mom gave to me on my birthday. The second game that I got is Monster Party, a game that is long overdue for a sequel and or remake, in my opinion. Really fun side-scroller, real cheesy. If you love classic and modern horror movies, this game will definitely be up for you. This will definitely pique your interest. And I've actually streamed this before. Maybe I'll go back and stream it again, but if you haven't taken a look at it, give it a try. Third one is Blaster Master. Probably my all-time favorite Sunsoft game. Right up there with Fester's Quest and Batman. I don't think Sunsoft really made a bad NES game, and if they did, it's not coming to mind. But this was the first one I ever got, and to this day is my absolute favorite in their lineup. You got awesome graphics, 2 different styles of play, and then of course the always awesome soundtrack that Sunsoft games always deliver. Next up, we got Ninja Gaiden. This is unique in that I actually got this not at a KB or a Toys R Us like most of my games came from, or even the Dillers that my mom worked at. This was actually sold at a Radio Shack in the shopping center she worked at. They used to carry a small amount of games in their display case, and when I went to hang out with her for a weekend day, she's like, go ahead and look around, see if there's anything you're interested in. I went to Radio Shack and of course happened to see this in the display case. So we waited until she got out of work, and then I reminded her I got good grades that month, so she went and picked this up for me, and this is still a favorite of mine to this day. This is where it gets a little bit tricky because my 5th game is a tie between my copy of Double Dragon and my copy of Contra. The reason for that is because I got both of these games at the same time. Unfortunately, I don't know where my original box is for this, but I happened to get these at a gaming store in Tempe when I went out on a bus trip with my uncle. I was waiting for him to get out of school that I think it was a Friday or Saturday. No, it wouldn't make sense if he was in school Saturday and this was detention. Anyway, I stopped at a game store that we used to go to, and they had both of these available, and I had my allowance, so I bought them both. Again, these are all favorites of mine. Still play them to this day. I just wish that my Contra was still in box when I got it. Alright, so there you have it. The starter games for the NES. Like I said, I could name all 5 of the games that I got for every system that I own. If you guys would like to see that, I can definitely do a video on it. But we'll go ahead and end the segment right there so that we can move on to the number 4th item on my list. Item number 4 would be gifts from all of you out there in YouTube, and of course my other friends and family that are all close and dear to me. As you can see here, we've got a box that was sent by the always awesome Edwin Padilla. If you want to see what's really in that box, I suggest you check out my one of my previous live streams, because there's a lot to cover in that. But that was one of the first gifts I was ever sent by someone else within the YouTube community, along with the awesome stickers that he sent. That box is very special to me because of that, and it meant a lot to actually receive something from him the very first time, let alone that awesome box. We also have the copy of Captain America and the Avengers and Shaq Fu that was sent by the always awesome Chris, aka Big Family Gaming. Both these guys are really awesome people. Check out their channels if you haven't yet. They put up all kinds of really great content, and both of them were very generous to send me those items there. Over here, we've got an interesting collection of items. We'll go ahead and start with the shoebox back there. This shoebox actually holds some N64 games that were given to me by a fellow coworker and friend of mine who just was looking to find a place for them. He told me he had some games he was going to get rid of. I told him that I'd be interested in offering some money for them, and he said he didn't want any. He was just appreciative that they were going to go to somebody who would actually want to play them and take care of them. Now, he had told me, oh, it's just a few games. What he really didn't tell me is that it's actually quite a few of them. This actually helped to get my N64 collection going. Now, there's quite a variety of titles in here. I actually have some other ones that he gave me that I put in protective cases because those are the more expensive ones that were included. And again, I offered to give him some money for these and he refused to take it from me. So he knew that I was going to take care of him and, of course, appreciate it. So that was very nice of him. And there's also a second part to that story that you'll see in a later video. Now, down below here, we've got this very cool action figure of Arthur himself from the Ghosts and Goblins series. This is actually autographed by Pixel Dan. I don't know if you can see the autograph up there. I will be talking about this in another video as well. But the reason why that item is so significant is because this was given to me by my girlfriend on Christmas, the same exact year that I was actually making her a Ghosts and Goblins gift as well, which was recreated pixel art from the game of Princess Prin hugging Arthur. I actually designed my own sprite for that and made everything out of Legos, so it's actually a huge piece that she's gonna frame and put up somewhere in one of these walls eventually. We're just trying to find the perfect spot for it. And then next to that is my copy of Enemy Zero for the Sega Saturn. This game is unique to me because it's one of my holy grails and has been for some time since I got my Saturn. And this was given to me by my pal Demon Hunter, who you know does all my awesome artwork, animations, and edits for my videos. He surprised me one Christmas as well with not only that game, but a few others. But this one meant the most to me because this was kind of like the epitome of my Sega Saturn collection. There are many other grails that I want, but this is one that I have always been looking for years. And every time I had the chance to get one, it was either overpriced, something was missing, or it just looked terrible. And this is probably the best conditioned game that I have seen within the last 20 years, actually. So when he gave that to me that Christmas, I was nothing but happy. And to this day, I still play it. I may consider streaming it if y'all are interested in that. I did do a little bit of gameplay when I first streamed Sega Saturn early on. But if you guys want to see that and more Sega Saturn stuff, be sure to let me know. Alright, that about wraps up, at least for now, some of the awesome gifts that you all have sent me, and then of course my closest friends have sent me within the last couple years. Now, if you're probably trying to figure out what number 5 is going to be, I dare you to take a guess. So while I go get the last bit of my collection that I want to show you all, let's see if you can figure out what it is exactly. You think you have it figured out what my number 5 is? I'll give you a couple more seconds. Alright. How many of you would have guessed that I, Zombie JLT1, am actually an ocarina player and collector? These are some of the oldest and rarest ocarinas that I own, and as you can see, they all are based on Legend of Zelda designs. I've actually been collecting for quite some time, and I have a variety of different designs from a few different companies that I like to buy from, and all of them are tuned to different keys, require different play styles, but as you can see, they're really, really cool replicas. I have everything from songbooks to pendant style ocarinas. This is one that I got from, I believe the company is called Clay's Whistleworks. This is the Hylian Shield, and I also got this Ocarina of Time replica from STL Ocarina. This one here I got at the Renaissance Fair a couple years ago. And then these are a variety from the same company called Songbird Ocarina, which is the first company that I bought from. This here is the very first one I ever got. This is what they call a 6-hole sweet potato or transverse ocarina. I do like it, but because I'm a stickler for perfection, I felt like the tone of that didn't match the game very well. So I ended up buying this one, which is a slightly smaller variant. This one comes with 5 holes, and this is actually the one that makes the closest sound to the video game itself. I played and have tabbed a variety of different songs on that, along with my very first Majora's Mask pendant. Unfortunately, I wore this so much that the string tore and this actually fell and hit the ground inside of Walmart. I managed to get all the pieces and glue it back together, and it still plays, but unfortunately Songbird doesn't make this style anymore. He replaced that with this particular style, but I still like the smaller design too because I always like the sound of that one. Over here we have a replica of the fairy ocarina that Saria gives you. There are two styles of this one. There's actually a lighter brown, and then there's this one. This is the first Ocarina of Time replica that he sold. This design is discontinued, but this is the 12-hole variant. The newer design is actually smaller than this, but it plays pretty much the same way and has a similar design to it. And then we've got two Hylian shield designs that he makes. This was actually a prototype that I had gotten off eBay. This one's painted chrome all the way. The newer version actually has this color on the back, and he actually outfitted these with chains if you actually want to hang them up or wear them. I learned my lesson after I lost my Majora pendant, so I know I don't wear those outside anymore. This one here is probably my most special one. In this box is actually not only the 3 stones from the 3 ancient races, as you can see there. This actually houses what's probably my most accurate OOT replica. You can see it's got the same hole design, the layout is the same, we've got the embedded Triforce with the platinum band on there. The only thing that keeps this from being 100% accurate is obviously Link is left-handed. He does make a left-handed variant like this, but I have yet to get that one. So since I'm right-handed, I play it this way. The reason why this one is so special to me is because this was given to me by a dear friend the last Christmas that we spent together. He sadly passed away a couple of years ago, and he actually was the one helping me to get a lot of these ocarinas. In fact, we found out when we were trying to win the prototype one that he and I were in the same bidding war, and eventually the same day when the bidding was ending, I cheered in victory that I got it. He screamed in agony because he missed his opportunity, and then we actually came together in the living room and were like, hey, what are you excited about? What are you mad about? And that's how we found out we were both bidding on the same ocarina. But this was the last one that he gave me. This came out that same exact year, and this was actually going to be a limited run because his ocarinas sell out pretty quickly, especially OOT replicas. And before he passed away, he had given this to me, and he just loved hearing me play all the time, even when I thought I wasn't sounding too hot. So this one I keep in that treasure chest for him as sort of like a remembrance to him. I still play it from time to time, but I like having it more as a display piece rather than using it, just as a tribute to him and what his friendship meant to me, and of course what this gift represents. So this is my most treasured ocarina. I do play all of these, like I've said, but I keep this one well protected in honor of him. Alright, so there you have it. That is my response video on what are the top 5 items in my gaming collection. Because I don't know who hasn't been tagged yet, I'm not going to just throw out random names, especially if you've already done one. So I'll go ahead and keep it open. If you want to make a response video yourself, feel free to tag me in it, and you can call it a response to Zombie's video or what have you. I know that there's a few already out there, so be sure to take a look at some of us that you know on YouTube who have responded to the video. And if you haven't yet and you'd like to, go right ahead. Be sure to let me know though, because I would love to see what's in your guys' collections as well. So, until next time, this is Zombie JLT1, your supernatural gamer and gaming beautician, signing off for now, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.